the dream of owning a home is changing. If you're a young parent in Toronto, you've probably heard the same thing over and over again. You need to move to the suburbs. The city is too expensive. It's not family friendly. But is that even true? Well, let's break it all down. Today, we're doing a deep dive into one of the biggest decisions families face. Stay in the city or move to the suburbs. We'll compare real homes at 4 different price points in both locations, looking at what your money actually buys, commute times, amenities, and school quality, and also what's the smarter investment for your future. And trust me, some of these comparisons are going to surprise you. By the end of this video, you'll have the real facts to make the best choice for your family. But before we dive in, I put together a free urban family guide that breaks down the best city neighborhoods for young families. Hit the link below in the description to grab it. But before we break down the homes, let's talk about what really matters when deciding where to raise your family. Because when people say the suburbs are better for kids, they're usually thinking about one thing: space. More house, more backyard, more room to grow. And yeah, that's true, but space isn't everything. So let's break down what actually impacts your day-to-day quality of life. So number 1 is commute and time savings. Your most valuable asset is time. We all know Toronto traffic is a complete nightmare, and the stats back it up. Toronto ranks amongst the worst cities in North America for commuting. The average GTA commute is 56 minutes, which is longer than New York City or even Los Angeles. That's 9 full days per year just sitting in your car. So a city perk is if you live near transit, you can cut that in half or even down to under 20 minutes. Then number 2 is schools, city versus suburbs. The biggest myth is that suburban schools are always better. But in fact, some of Ontario's top-ranked public schools are actually right here in the city of Toronto. So the takeaway is there are great schools in both locations, suburban and city, but suburban schools aren't automatically better. Number 3, walkability and kid-friendly amenities. So the advantage in the city is you have walkable communities, which means parks, daycares, coffee shops, and grocery stores are all minutes away. In the suburbs, the trade-off is that all of those amenities usually requires a car. So if your kid has, let's say, hockey or soccer practice at 7 a.m. and you live in the suburbs, you're likely driving anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes to get them to those facilities. In the city, most of those facilities are within 10-minute walk. So coming in at number 4 is resale and investment. Where's the smarter money? Urban properties traditionally appreciate much faster than suburban properties. And why is that? Well, supply and demand. Land is limited in the city and there's more demand, which means higher home values. Suburban growth means more supply and usually slower appreciation. Coming in at number 5, culture and community, raising worldly kids. So the biggest city advantage, your kids are exposed to diversity, arts and music, and countless opportunities like internships, networking, and top universities. So studies show that kids who grow up in diverse urban environments have stronger problem-solving skills and adapt better to new situations. Okay, so now that we've broken down the key factors, commute, schools, walkability, investment, and culture, you might be thinking, okay, city living has some big advantages, but what does it actually look like when it comes to buying a home? Because at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. So let's put this to the test. I'm going to show you 4 real price points from entry-level homes under $750,000 to premium luxury properties near $2 million. And at each price point, we'll compare what you can get in the city versus the suburbs, and you might be surprised at how competitive the city options really are. Price point number 1, properties under $750,000. So first up, we have this option here in the city in Mount Dennis, listed at just under $700,000, compared to the suburban home in Mississauga, listed also around that $700,000 price point. So the advantage in the city is commute time. I mean, this home is wedged between the Up Express and the new Crosstown LRT, so you can be downtown from your front door in under 30 minutes. You also have lower property taxes, just over $2,100 compared to just over $4,000 in the suburbs. And then walkability, your steps to transit, parks, and schools. Now, the advantage in this for the suburban home is that you have bigger overall space, you have a larger backyard, and it's a generally quieter family neighborhood. So, the verdict? If commute and amenities matter, Toronto wins. But if space and quiet is more important to you, then Mississauga probably edges this one out. Price point number 2, $750,000 to $1 million. So the first option we have right here is in East Danforth, listed at around $900,000. And then this property in Pickering, also listed around $900,000. So the advantage in the city is you can walk to 2 subway stations from this location, and there's a GO train nearby. It's also renovated and move-in ready, but the big perk here is that you have schools, parks, shopping, restaurants, again, everything within a 15-20 minute walk from your front door. Now, the suburban advantage is, and this theme is going to kind of continue throughout this video, is you have a bigger backyard and more outdoor space and quieter streets. So the verdict at this price point, if you need transit, walkability, and strong resale value, Toronto wins. If you want space and a slower pace, then Pickering probably makes sense. Price point number 3, $1 million to $1.5 million. So let's look at this property in Hillcrest Village, listed at just under $1.3 million, compared to same price point in Richmond Hill. So the advantage here is this house in Hillcrest is in an excellent school district and also has great public transit options. Now, the suburban advantage for this home is it's a much larger home with a lot more backyard space. So again, the verdict, if you want strong resale value, the city is a smarter move, but if you just want more space, Richmond Hill offers much more of that. Now, last but not least, we are at the 4th price point, which is more in our luxury zone at $1.5 million to $2 million. So let's look at this one property in Dovercourt Village at $2 million compared to this home in Oakville, also listed at $2 million. So the city advantage is you're near some very trendy parks like Dufferin Grove or Christie Pitts. And you're also walkable to parks, transit, stores, and a lot of Michelin-starred restaurants. Now, the suburban advantage, you have a massive 4,000 square foot home with a huge backyard, but not really much else nearby. So the verdict in this one is if you want high-end finishes, walkable lifestyle, Toronto wins again. But if you want pure space, Oakville will win out. So if we look at the recap between all of these different price points, the city wins on lifestyle. But why do people feel like the suburbs are the better option? Well, you have more space and you have a few more kid-friendly amenities, but you've usually got to drive to them. It also feels safer in some ways, but what people tend to forget is why city living might actually be a little bit better. So the first step is culture and community. In the city, kids grow up exposed to diversity, arts, and new perspectives. It also builds worldly young adults, so raising kids in the city means they learn how to navigate real life a little bit faster. You also have a few more education and career advantages in the city, especially when it comes to older kids. So you have better access to top schools, internships, and networking opportunities. You also build kids with a lot more independence. Kids in cities don't rely on parents to drive them everywhere they need to go. And then as we've seen also, the suburbs aren't necessarily cheaper. You have to factor in long commutes, car maintenance, and time spent driving. And while you do have larger spaces, those spaces are usually more expensive to maintain on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis. So, is it time to rewrite the narrative? You don't have to move to the suburbs to afford a family home. There are great options at every price point in the city, and for many families, staying in Toronto is actually the better move. Now, if you're a young family looking to stay in the city, here's what to do next. Step 1, download my Urban Family Guide. There should be a QR code here on the screen, or there's a link down below. Click it, and you can grab that guide. Step number 2, if you want a real breakdown of what's available in your budget, book a call. I'll help you find the right home for your family. Now, drop a comment, city or suburbs, in the comment section down below. What do you think is the better move for families? Let's discuss it. Oh, and also if you haven't done so already, like this video, hit subscribe if this helped, and we'll see you in the next one.